Marcus stood outside the Apple store on a cool Friday morning in September, waiting in a line that snaked around the corner. He was about to spend $1,199 on a new phone. His current phone was in his pocket right now, and it worked perfectly. He knew every detail about the new model he was waiting for. He had watched every video review, read every blog post, and studied every leaked photo for months. The new camera had one extra lens. The processor was a little bit faster. The screen was slightly brighter. But if someone had asked him what his current phone could not do, he would have struggled to answer. His phone made calls without any problems. It sent texts instantly. It took pictures that looked great on social media. It ran all his apps smoothly. It was only a year and a half old and had never given him a single issue. Yet standing in that line, Marcus felt a strange pressure building inside him. He felt like he was falling behind, like his phone was suddenly old and embarrassing, even though nothing about it had changed since last night. Last night he had used that same phone to watch the company announce its replacement, and that was when the magic trick happened. The magic was not in the new phone itself. The magic was in how Marcus now saw the phone he already owned. Just one day earlier he had been completely happy with his device, but after watching the presentation, something shifted. He watched a man on stage reveal features he would probably never use, and yet he felt a creeping sense of dissatisfaction. His perfectly good phone had been mentally downgraded just because something newer now existed. He did not actually need a new phone. What he needed was to believe that his current phone was no longer good enough, and the company had spent billions of dollars making sure he would believe exactly that. Marcus bought the new phone. He spent the whole weekend moving his data over, installing his apps, and setting everything up just right. He kept noticing how similar everything looked to what he had before. By Monday morning, the new phone felt completely normal. There was no excitement left. The experience was the same as the one he had left behind. The thrill lasted about 72 hours. The payment plan would last 24 months, and in about 18 months, he would probably be standing in another line somewhere, convinced once again that what he had was suddenly not enough. My name is Cujo, and I think way too much about why perfectly good technology starts feeling broken the moment something newer comes out. If you have ever bought a new phone or laptop or tablet and realized a few weeks later that you spent $1,000 for an experience almost identical to what you had before. If you have ever noticed your device slowing down suspiciously close to when a new model gets released, then make sure to hit that subscribe button. What I'm about to show you is how the tech industry has built a machine that extracts money from your pocket by playing with your mind. This machine costs the average American household tens of thousands of dollars over a lifetime, and it does not charge you for real innovation. It charges you for the illusion of innovation. I call this the upgrade illusion, and once you understand how it works, you will never watch another product announcement the same way again. Here's the most important thing you need to understand about the modern technology industry. The business model is not about selling you a great device one time. The business model is about selling you the same device over and over again, with tiny changes that are packaged and sold as revolutionary breakthroughs. Companies like Apple, Samsung, Google, and all the rest have mastered a form of psychological manipulation. They can turn your satisfaction into dissatisfaction whenever they want. They do not need to make your old device worse. They just need to make you feel like it is worse. And that is a much easier problem to solve. They solve it every single year with a big presentation, a flood of advertisements, and a carefully planned cultural moment that makes everyone look at their current phone and think maybe it is time for an upgrade. The numbers behind this illusion are shocking. According to research firms, the average person in the United States upgrades their smartphone about every 2.8 years. That means people get a new phone every 33 months on average, even though modern smartphones are built to last 5 to 7 years if you take care of them. The average price of a new smartphone in America is now over $850, and the most advanced models regularly cost more than $1,000. If you upgrade every 2.8 years and spend $850 each time over a 40-year adult life, you will spend approximately $12,143 on smartphones alone. And that is before you add in cases, chargers, headphones, Apple Care, and the monthly financing charges that most people use to avoid feeling the full pain of the payment all at once. But smartphones are only the beginning. Think about laptops, replaced every 3 to 4 years at an average of $1,200 each. Think about tablets at $600 every 4 years. Think about smartwatches at $400 every 3 years. Think about wireless earbuds at $200 every 2 years. Think about smart home devices, streaming sticks, and all the other gadgets that marketers convince you are essential until the next version makes them feel old and useless. A recent report found that the average American household spends about $1,700 per year on consumer electronics. Over a 40-year adult life, that adds up to $68,000. That is the price of a nice luxury car. It is a down payment on a house in many parts of the country. And if you invested that $1,700 every year in an index fund with an 8% return over the same 40 years, you would have approximately $340,000. You are not buying technology. You are buying scheduled dissatisfaction created by companies that make money when you feel like you are always behind. Let me show you exactly how the upgrade illusion works, because the machinery behind it is both clever and brutal. The first mechanism is planned obsolescence through software. This means companies deliberately slow down older devices by releasing operating system updates that are designed for newer hardware. A few years ago, a major phone company admitted to slowing down older phones to compensate for aging batteries. This practice led to a huge legal settlement and confirmed what users had suspected for years: their phones really were slowing down around the time new models came out. But software obsolescence goes beyond just slowing things down. Each new operating system version needs more processing power, more memory, and more storage. Older devices have fixed amounts of these resources. Your 3-year-old phone might technically be able to run the latest software update, but it will run slower, with more lag, and apps might crash more often. The battery will drain faster because the software demands more than the hardware can comfortably provide. You did not break your phone. The manufacturer updated it into a slower state, and the only solution they offer is buying new hardware designed for the new software. The second mechanism is planned obsolescence through hardware. This means companies make design choices that make devices difficult or impossible to repair. Batteries are glued in and cannot be replaced by the user. Screens are fused to the body in ways that require special tools. Repair parts are not sold to independent shops. If you need a new battery from the manufacturer, it costs around $100, and you have to make an appointment at a certified store. The battery itself only costs about $15. The rest of what you pay is for labor and for the artificially restricted access to repairs. Many people facing a $100 repair bill on a 3-year-old phone decide they might as well put that money toward a new device. That is exactly the calculation the manufacturer wanted you to make. The third mechanism is the most sneaky of all. It is the annual release cycle itself. By launching new devices on a predictable schedule every year, tech companies have trained consumers to feel like their current device is getting older and more outdated with each passing month. The phone you bought in January feels brand new and exciting. By September, when the new model is announced, that same phone, unchanged and still perfectly functional, suddenly feels like last year's model. The big presentation does not just market the new device. It systematically markets dissatisfaction with the old one. Every feature they show off implies that your current device is missing something important. Every camera comparison makes your photos look slightly worse. Every performance benchmark makes your device feel slow and outdated. You are not watching a product announcement. You are watching a carefully planned, psychological operation designed to create desire for something you do not need by creating discontent with something that still works fine. Now you might be thinking that technology does actually improve over time. You might believe that new phones are genuinely better and that upgrading makes sense because you are getting real value. And this is where I need to challenge what better actually means in practice. A top-of-the-line phone from a few years ago. A brand new top-of-the-line phone can both do everything that 95% of users actually do with their phones. People text, they call, they scroll through social media, they take pictures good enough for sharing, they check email, they use maps, they watch videos, and they handle basic work tasks. The new phone does these things about 3 to 5% faster. It takes photos that are slightly better in low light conditions that most people rarely deal with. It has a screen that is a little brighter in direct sunlight, which makes no difference indoors. And the battery lasts about the same amount of time because any efficiency improvements get eaten up by larger screens and more power-hungry features. The improvements are real, but you cannot feel them in daily use. You cannot notice a 5% speed boost. You cannot see the difference between a 20 megapixel photo and a 24 megapixel photo on a tiny phone screen. You cannot meaningfully experience the small upgrades that marketing teams present as huge breakthroughs. Researchers have done studies where they gave people different phones and asked them to perform everyday tasks. People could not reliably tell which phone was newer or more expensive. They could tell the difference when looking at technical benchmarks, but in real-world use, the phones felt the same. This means you are not paying $1,000 for a better experience. You are paying $1,000 for the knowledge that you have the newest version. That is a psychological reward, not a practical one. And here is something most people do not think about when comparing old and new devices. The alternative to buying a new phone is not suffering with outdated technology. The alternative is buying nothing, because your current device still works just fine. Or buying a refurbished phone from 2 years ago at half the price that gives you 95% of the performance. A refurbished older model phone costs around $450 and does everything a brand new one does for daily tasks. The 2-year-old phone is not obsolete. It is just a better value. It performs at a high level for a mid-range price because the upgrade illusion convinced its first owner to trade it in for something slightly better. That trade-in floods the refurbished market with excellent devices that the marketing machine tells you to ignore. Let me show you the lifetime math of escaping the upgrade illusion, because this is where the financial impact becomes truly life-changing. Imagine 2 people with the same technology needs. The first person upgrades their phone every 2 years at $1,000 each. They buy a new laptop every 3 years at $1,400. They replace their tablet every 4 years at $700. They update their earbuds and watch as often as the manufacturers suggest. The second person keeps their phone for 4 years and buys refurbished models from 2 generations back when they finally need to replace it. They keep their laptop for 6 years and just replace the battery once. They only replace accessories when they actually stop working. The first person spends about $2,800 per year on personal technology. The second person spends about $900 per year. That is a difference of $1,900 annually. The first person spends $84,000 on personal technology. The second person spends $27,000. The difference is $57,000 in direct spending. But the real cost is what that $57,000 could have become if it had been invested instead of spent on small upgrades. If you invest that $1,900 difference every year for 30 years and earn an 8% return, it grows to approximately $214,000, $250,000. That is the true cost of the upgrade illusion. Any single device. It is the compounded lifetime extraction of your wealth through manufactured dissatisfaction. Upgrade after upgrade, year after year, while perfectly good technology sits in drawers or gets traded in for a fraction of its remaining useful life. Here is where it gets really interesting, because the tech industry has also convinced us that holding on to devices is somehow embarrassing or irresponsible, when the opposite is true. The environmental cost of the upgrade illusion is massive. Every year the world generates about 50 million metric tons of electronic waste, and that number keeps growing. The rare minerals inside your phone, like lithium and cobalt, are dug up through environmentally destructive mining, often in countries where workers have few protections. Creates about 70 kilograms of carbon dioxide emissions. Most of a device's lifetime carbon footprint comes from making it, not from using it. Every unnecessary upgrade is not just a financial decision, it is an environmental one. The person using a 4-year-old phone is not behind the times. They are making a smarter economic choice and a more responsible environmental one. The social pressure to upgrade is completely manufactured, and it should be resisted, not just for financial reasons, but because the pattern of consumption creates is genuinely harmful to the planet. The marketing has convinced us that wanting the newest thing is natural and unavoidable, but the wanting is engineered. You did not wake up feeling bad about your phone. You watched a presentation or saw an advertisement or scrolled past a review that planted that feeling of dissatisfaction inside you. The desire came from outside, not from within. And recognizing that is the first step to breaking free from the cycle. So what do you actually do to escape the upgrade illusion? The first step is to define what you actually need from your devices and measure your current device against that, not against some perfect ideal that a new device promises. Ask yourself, what do I really do with my phone or laptop every single day? If the answer is texting, email, social media, photos, and streaming, then your 2 or 3-year-old device handles all of that just fine. You do not need more processing power for Instagram. You do not need a better camera for snapshots. The new features are designed to create demand, not to serve needs you already have. The second step is to make your current devices last longer through simple maintenance. Replace the battery when it starts to wear out. A $100 repair that gives you 2 more years of use is way cheaper than a $1,000 replacement. Use a protective case to prevent damage. Delete apps and files you do not need to keep performance strong. If your device feels slow, try resetting it to factory settings. Often, the sluggishness comes from software clutter, not from hardware problems. Studies show the average smartphone has about 80 unused apps taking up space and using up processing power. Cleaning up your device can bring back performance you thought was gone forever. The third step is to buy refurbished when you finally do need to upgrade. The big companies and other trusted sellers offer certified refurbished devices at 30 to 50% off the original price, and they come with warranties. A 2-year-old refurbished phone works just as well as a brand new mid-range phone in daily use, and it costs less with the same reliability. The stigma around refurbished items is created by companies that make more money when you buy new. The devices themselves are excellent. The fourth step is to set upgrade timelines based on actual need, not on marketing cycles. A good smartphone should last 4 to 5 years, a good laptop should last 6 to 7 years, a good tablet should last 5 to 6 years. When your device literally cannot run the software you need, or the battery cannot hold a charge even after replacement, that is when you upgrade. Not when a company tells you something newer exists. Right now, you probably see yourself as someone who likes technology, someone who enjoys having capable devices, someone who stays reasonably current without going overboard. That identity feels balanced and reasonable, but there is another way to look at it. Every time you upgrade on schedule, you are voting for a system designed to take as much money from you as possible by making you feel dissatisfied. Every time you trade in a working device, just because something newer exists, you are proving that the psychological manipulation worked. The tech industry does not see you as a customer to serve. It sees you as a resource to harvest on a regular schedule. And it has built an entire cultural machine: product announcements, influencer reviews, social media hype, and trade-in. Programs to make sure you show up every 2 or 3 years with $1,000 ready to exchange for an experience almost identical to what you already had. Marcus is not a careful spender. He is the perfect customer. He waited in line to pay almost $1,200 for a 3% improvement he cannot even notice. And in 18 months, he will do it again, never calculating the lifetime cost because the payments are spread out over months, and the dissatisfaction is manufactured fresh every September. The upgrade illusion works because it attacks your perception, not your device. Your phone did not become worse when the new model was announced. Your perception of your phone changed because billions of dollars were spent to change it. The only way out is to recognize the manipulation for what it is, and to measure your device against your actual needs, instead of against an artificial standard designed to make you feel like you are always falling behind. You are not behind. You are being told you are behind by people who make money when you believe them. Your 3-year-old phone works. Your 5-year-old laptop works. The dissatisfaction you feel is not coming from the device. It is coming from a marketing machine that needs you to feel dissatisfied in order to survive. Unplug from the illusion. Keep using what works. Invest the money you save. If this video changed how you think about your next upgrade, hit that like button and subscribe. I will see you in the next one.